The bouquet hit the floor like a gunshot, petals exploding across the hardwood in a riot of crimson and white, as if the flowers themselves were screaming the secret I'd buried for months. "You think this fixes anything, Mason? A dozen roses and some bullshit apology." Oliver's voice cracked like thunder over the Hudson. His blue eyes, those goddamn piercing blues that had haunted my dreams, locked on mine with a fury that made my knees buckle. In that split second, as the door to Emily's apartment slammed behind me, I realized I'd just shattered the only real thing I'd ever known, trading a lifetime of polite lies for the brutal truth of loving the wrong damn person in the wrong damn house. I never meant for it to start like this. New York City in late summer, the kind of heat that sticks to your skin like regret. And me, Mason Riley, 32-year-old architect with a corner office in Midtown and a fiancé who checked every box on someone else's idea of perfect. Emily Hargrove was the girl you'd bring home to Irish Catholic parents in Queens. Smart, funny, with that effortless laugh that made boardrooms lighten up and brunches feel like home. We'd met at a gala for the Whitney Museum 2 years back. Her in an emerald dress that hugged her like it was painted on, me fumbling a champagne flute and spilling it down her arm. "Smooth, Riley," she teased, dabbing at the stain with a napkin, her green eyes sparkling under the chandeliers. 6 months later, I proposed on the High Line with a ring from Tiffany's that cost more than my first car. She said yes, and just like that, the path was paved. Wedding in the fall, brownstone in Brooklyn, kids named after poets or something equally aspirational. But then came the flowers. It was our anniversary, hers and mine, Emily's and Mason's, and I'd been buried in deadlines for a luxury condo project up in Hudson Yards. Forgot the date until my assistant pinged me at noon. "Shit," I muttered, scrolling through 1-800-FLOWERS on my phone while stuck in traffic on the FDR. A dozen long-stemmed roses, red as sin, with a card that read, "To the woman who makes every blueprint better. Love." Rush delivery to her address in Williamsburg, 47 Berry Street, apartment 4B. I tipped extra for same day, pictured her surprise when the buzzer rang, that grin splitting her face as she hauled the vase up the stairs. What I didn't picture was Oliver. Emily's brother had moved in 6 months earlier, fresh off a nasty breakup in San Francisco. Some tech bro who'd ghosted him after 3 years, or so Emily said over wine one night. Oliver Hargrove, 28, freelance graphic designer with a portfolio of album covers for indie bands I'd never heard of. She described him as the family wild card, all tattoos and sarcasm, crashing on her couch until he found his footing in the city. "He's got this whole brooding artist vibe," she'd laughed. "You'll love him. Or hate him. 50-50. The elevator dinged at my office building that evening, and I was already running late for dinner at L'Artusi. My phone buzzed. "Emily. Flowers just arrived. They're gorgeous. But you owe me tiramisu for the guilt trip." I grinned, thumbs flying, on it. Be there in 20. Traffic was a beast, but I made it to Berry Street in 18, double-parked like an asshole, and bounded up the stoop with a bottle of Veuve Clicquot under my arm. The door swung open before I could knock, and there he was, Oliver, leaning against the frame in faded Levi's and a threadbare Ramones tee that clung to his lean frame like it was painted on. Dark hair tousled, like he'd just rolled out of a sketchbook, and those eyes, ocean blue, sharp as shattered glass, framed by lashes that should have been illegal on a guy. He was shorter than me by an inch, maybe 5'11", but he filled the doorway with this effortless presence, like the air bent around him, "You're Mason," he said. Not a question. His voice low and gravelly, laced with that California drawl Emily mentioned. He extended a hand, calloused from pencils or whatever artists used, and when our palms met, it was like static electric, lingering a beat too long. "M's in the shower. Come on in." I stepped inside, the apartment unfolding like a page from Dwell magazine. Exposed brick, mid-century chairs Emily scored on Craigslist. Sunlight slanting through floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the East River. The roses sat on the kitchen island, vibrant against the white quartz. But something was off. The card was askew, like it had been read and replaced too hastily. "Nice touch," Oliver said, nodding at the flowers as he rummaged in the fridge for beers. He popped the caps on 2 Heinekens, handing me one without asking. "Roses scream. I'm compensating for something. What's the occasion?" I laughed. Too loud, taking a swig to cover the flush creeping up my neck. "Anniversary. 2 years. Figured I'd play it classic." He smirked, leaning against the counter, bottle dangling from his fingers. "Classics overrated. M deserves chaos. Fireworks. Or, hell, a tattoo of your face on her ass." The image hit me wrong. Too vivid, too intimate, and I coughed into my beer. "Yeah, well, chaos isn't really my style. Blueprints and deadlines, that's me." Oliver's gaze flicked over me, praising, like he was sketching me in his head. "Boring," he said, but there was no bite, just this spark, this challenge that made my pulse kick up. "M talks about you nonstop. Golden boy. Future senator or some shit." "Architect," I corrected, setting the bottle down. "And she's exaggerating." Before he could fire back, the bathroom door creaked open, steam billowing out like a special effect. Emily emerged in a towel, hair twisted up, skin flushed pink. "Babe," she launched at me, wrapping her arms around my neck, the scent of her lavender soap enveloping us. "You sneaky bastard. Those flowers? Killer." I kissed her, soft and sure, the kind of kiss that said this is us. But as she pulled back, grinning, I caught Oliver's eyes over her shoulder watching, unblinking, with an intensity that felt like a hook in my gut. Dinner was a blur of pasta and wine, Emily chattering about her latest marketing pitch at Ogilvy, me nodding along while Oliver lobbed dry quips from across the table. "So, Mason," he said midway through his linguine, twirling a forkful like a weapon, "you ever design anything that doesn't scream, trust fund safe?" Emily swatted his arm. "Ollie, be nice." "I'm nice," he protested, all innocence, but his foot bare under the table brushed mine. "Accidental?" The jolt said no. I shifted, heat pooling low, and spent the rest of the meal pretending to check emails under the table. By 10, Emily was yawning, curled against me on the couch during some Netflix rom-com she insisted on. Oliver sprawled in the armchair, sketching idly on a napkin, abstract lines that resolved into a face. Mine, if I wasn't imagining it. "Night, you too," he said eventually, stretching with a yawn that exposed a strip of tan skin above his waistband. "Don't do anything I wouldn't," Emily snorted. "That's a short list." He winked at her, "Or me," and vanished into his room, the door clicking shut like a period at the end of a sentence I wasn't ready to read. We didn't stay long after that. Emily walked me to the door, her hand in mine, the rose's perfume lingering in the air. Love you, she murmured, pulling me down for a goodnight kiss that tasted like Chianti and forever. Love you too, I said, and meant it, in the hollow way you mean things when they're scripted. Driving back to my place in Chelsea, solo, since Emily hated the commute, I replayed the night. The beer. The foot. Those eyes. Get a grip, Riley. It was nothing. A fluke. But when I crawled into bed, phone buzzing with a text from an unknown number, nice meeting the golden boy. Watch out for chaos. Oh, sleep didn't come easy. I stared at the ceiling, the city humming outside my window, wondering what the hell I just walked into. The next few weeks blurred into that pre-wedding frenzy. Tastings at bakeries in the village, suit fittings on Fifth Avenue, Emily's bridal shower plans spilling over coffee dates. But Oliver lingered like a shadow in the frame. He'd text Emily group chats with memes, dark, twisted humor that had me snorting in meetings, and somehow, I'd end up replying, drawn into the banter like a moth to neon. You call that architecture? Looks like a drunk Lego set. His critique of my latest render, attached to a photo of the Hudson Yards site. Coming from the guy who draws stick figures for a living, I fire back, ignoring the thrill when my phone lit up with Ollie typing. Emily noticed, of course. You two are getting along, she said one night over takeout Thai, chopsticks poised midair. Weirdly well, actually, I shrugged, heat in my cheeks. He's tolerable, she laughed, leaning her head on my shoulder. Told you. 50-50, but tolerable turned to something sharper, something I couldn't name. It started small, bumping into him at the coffee shop on Bedford, where he'd accidentally snag the last almond croissant and slide half onto my plate with a grin. Or the time Emily dragged us all to a gallery opening in Bushwick, his hand steadying mine in the crowd. Firm, warm, gone too quick. Watch the step, he'd murmur, breath ghosting my ear. And I'd nod, throat dry, pretending it was the wine. Then came the rain. Late September, skies opening like Judgment Day, and I was caught without an umbrella after a site visit in Dumbo. Soaked to the bone, shirt plastered, I ducked into a bodega for cover, cursing my luck. My phone died mid-Uber call, and there he was, Oliver, striding down the sidewalk in a leather jacket, hair slicked back, looking like he'd stepped out of a goddamn cologne ad. Riley, he stopped short, eyes widening. You look like a drowned rat. Feel like one too, I admitted, shivering. He didn't hesitate. Come on. My place is 2 blocks. Your place. M's out of town. Client thing in Chicago. He tugged my elbow, steering me through the downpour. Unless you want to audition for a wet t-shirt contest. The walk was a blur of puddles and laughter mine, surprised out of me, and by the time we hit 47 Barry, I was drenched, teeth chattering. Oliver kicked the door shut, flicking on lights. Shower. Now. I'll throw your shit in the dryer, I protested weakly, but he was already herding me toward the bathroom, tossing a towel my way. Go. Before you flood the floor. The hot water hit like grace, steam fogging the mirror as I scrubbed away the chill. But my mind raced. His jacket slung over a chair, sketchbooks piled on the coffee table, a half-empty bottle of Jack on the counter. When I emerged in sweatpants and a tee he'd left folded outside, soft, smelling like him, I found him on the couch, controller in hand. Some old-school Street Fighter paused on the TV. Feel human. He glanced up, patting the cushion beside him. Better. I sat closer than necessary, the fabric of the couch dipping us toward each other. We played for hours, him schooling me, trash-talking with that lazy drawl, me laughing until my sides ached. The rain hammered the windows, a cocoon around us, and somewhere between round 5 and the whiskey he poured neat, in mismatched tumblers, the air thickened. "You're not what I expected," he said suddenly. Controller forgotten, eyes on the screen but voice pitched low. "Yeah," I swallowed. "What's that?" "Golden boy." "But you're real." Cracks and all. My heart thudded. "And you?" "The wild card." He turned then, full face, shadows playing over his jaw. "I'm a mess, Mason. Always have been." The space between us hummed. I could have pulled back, blamed the booze, the storm. Instead, I leaned in slow, testing, and his hand found my neck, thumb tracing my pulse, pulling me the rest of the way. The kiss was fire, rough, hungry, tasting of rain and want and every bad decision I'd never made. His stubble scraped my chin, fingers tangling in my damp hair, and I groaned into his mouth, the world narrowing to this him, the forbidden snap of it all. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, his breath ragged. "Fuck," he whispered. "This is bad." "Yeah," I echoed, but didn't move. Couldn't. He kissed me again, softer, exploratory, and we tumbled into it, clothes shedding like secrets, bodies mapping uncharted territory on that worn couch. Oliver was all lean muscle and ink, vines curling up his ribs, a constellation of freckles across his collarbone I traced with my tongue. He arched under me, whispering my name like a prayer, and when he flipped us, taking control with a confidence that bordered on worship, I surrendered utterly, completely. After, tangled in sheets we'd migrated to his bed, the rain a lullaby, he traced lazy circles on my chest. "Emily," he said, voice heavy. "I know." Guilt twisted like a knife, but his touch soothed it, for the moment. "We can't." "I know," I repeated, pulling him closer. "Just tonight." But one night became 2, then a week of stolen hours. Him sketching me nude in the mornings, me bringing coffee and excuses to check on the apartment while Emily traveled. We'd fuck like it was the apocalypse, slow and reverent one moment, frantic the next, then talk for hours about everything and nothing. His ex in California who'd called him too much, my childhood in Queens dodging my dad's belt, the way New York felt like a beast that devoured you whole. It was romance wrapped in barbed wire, every touch laced with the lie I was living. Emily came home glowing from her trip, oblivious, planning our engagement party with her mom over FaceTime. I'd nod, kiss her temple, then sneak texts to Oliver, "Miss your chaos." He'd reply, "Careful, golden boy." Chaos bites. The cracks showed first in October, leaves turning gold on the promenade, air crisp with the promise of fall. Emily wanted to meet my parents for dinner, the official stamp, she called it, and I agreed, because what else could I do? But the night before, nerves fraying, I ended up at Berry Street with a bottle of bourbon and a hunger only Oliver could sate. We were midway through round 2, him on his knees, my hands fisted in his hair, when the door buzzed. Insistent, angry. Emily's key turned in the lock before we could scramble. She stood there, coat dusted with early frost, eyes widening at the tableau, me, pants around ankles, Oliver rising with a curse, the bed a crime scene of rumpled sheets and discarded clothes. Mason, her voice was small, shattered. What the fuck? Time froze. Oliver yanked on boxers, face ashen. Get out, she hissed at him. Then to me, both of you. Now, I dressed in a haze, apologies tumbling stupid. It wasn't planned. I love you. This doesn't change us. But her face, that betrayal carving lines I'd never erase, silenced me. Oliver tried to explain. Sis, please. But she shoved him toward his room, tears streaming. You're my brother. How could you? The door slammed on us both that night. Me in a cab to nowhere. Oliver texting I'm sorry until his phone died. Days bled into silence. Emily's calls ignored. My work a fog of errors and caffeine. The wedding was off, cancelled via email. Terse and final. I can't marry a lie. Betrayal's a funny thing. It doesn't just break the betrayed. It guts the betrayer too. I saw it in the mirror, hollow cheeks, eyes like Oliver's sketches, all shadow and line. He reached out once. A voicemail left at 3 a.m. We fucked up, Mason. But I don't regret you. Just the fallout. I didn't call back. Couldn't. Instead, I threw myself into the bottle, the gym, revisions on the Hudson Yards project until blueprints blurred. Emily moved out, crashed with her mom in Connecticut, filed for space and Oliver vanished. Sublet signed overnight. Forwarding address a P.O. box in Bushwick. Winter hit like a hammer. Snow blanketing the city in indifferent white. Christmas came and went. My parents bewildered, toasting to better luck next year over turkey. I wandered the Met alone, staring at Hopper's Nighthawks, that eternal loneliness in the diner glow mirroring my own. Then, Valentine's irony's cruel joke. The roses I'd sent Emily a year prior haunted me, so I avoided florists, stuck to takeout and Netflix. But fate, that sadistic bitch, had other plans. A client dinner at the Modern, forced smile over foie gras, and there he was, Oliver, across the room, laughing with a table of artsy types, his hair longer, jacket slung over a chair. Our eyes met, electric, inevitable. He excused himself, weaving through waiters, stopping at my table with that half-smirk masking the wreck underneath. Riley, Hargrove, awkward beat. Then, buy you a drink? After. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah. We ended up at a dive in Hell's Kitchen. Neon buzzing open in the fogged window. Jukebox crooning Springsteen. 2 whiskeys in. The dam broke. I'm sorry, I started. He waved it off. Don't. We both knew. Emily hates me. Won't speak. Says I stole her future. His laugh was bitter. Like love's a heist. It's not. I reached across the scarred table, fingers brushing his. It wasn't theft. It was inevitable. He stilled, eyes searching mine. And now, I said, voice steady for the first time in months. I want to build something real. With you. If you'll have me. The kiss in that booth was different. Tender, tentative, tasting of redemption and second chances. No rush, no secrets, just us, raw and hopeful. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms rioting along the promenade. Emily reached out in April, a letter, handwritten on lavender stationery. I don't forgive yet. But I understand. Love isn't a checklist. Be happy, Mason. For both of us. Humanistic, she call it later, over coffee in neutral territory, a cafe in Soho, her with a new job in LA, me with sketches of a life unblueprinted. Oliver and I took it slow. Brunches in bed, gallery crawls in Chelsea, him inking a vine tattoo on my forearm to match his. No grand gestures, just the quiet romance of shared silences, of waking to his sketches on the nightstand, me, always me, rendered in loving strokes. The wedding was small. Summer solstice on a rooftop in Williamsburg, the same view as that rainy night, but sunlight now, gilding the skyline. Vows exchanged under strung lights. I promise chaos, he said, rings sliding on, and to love your cracks. And I replied, voice thick, the blueprints to hold it all. We danced as dusk fell, his head on my shoulder, the city a heartbeat below. Not perfect, no story is, but ours, deeply, humanly, ours. In the house of wrong turns, we'd found the right door. The rooftop party wound down with laughter echoing off the parapets. Fairy lights twinkling like stars we'd stolen from the sky. Oliver spun me one last time, his hands firm on my waist, before pulling me close for a kiss that tasted of cake and champagne. Sweet, effervescent, the kind that promised tomorrows without the weight of yesterdays. Husband, he murmured against my lips, the word still foreign, thrilling, like trying on a suit tailored just for your soul. Downstairs, in the apartment we'd sublet together, neutral ground, no ghosts, friends milled about, toasting with plastic flutes, Emily's absence a polite shadow no one mentioned. She'd sent a card, to the chaos and the calm. Love, sat on the mantel with the others, a bridge half built. But as the clock ticked past midnight, the high faded, leaving that post-vow quiet where reality seeps in. Oliver crashed on the couch, tie loosened, while I poured waters in the kitchen, replaying the day, my mom's tears, his sister's RSVP regret, the way his vows had cracked on forever, echoing my own buried fears. You okay? I asked, handing him the glass, settling beside him. He sipped, eyes distant. Yeah. Just hit me. We're it. No takebacks. I laced our fingers, thumb stroking his wedding band, simple platinum, engraved with vines. Scared, terrified, honesty, always our currency. Last time I said, I do in my head, it was to that asshole in SF. Woke up to an empty apartment and a lease in my name. I squeezed his hand. This isn't that. I know. He leaned into me, head on my shoulder. You're the real deal, Riley. Golden boy turned heartbreaker. We laughed. Soft, the sound weaving us tighter. That night, lovemaking was gentle, exploratory, like mapping a familiar city anew. His body, etched in my memory, felt sacred now, each scar a story I'd claim. Morning brought coffee and chaos. Oliver burning toast, me salvaging with avocado, both of us in boxers and rings, domesticity wrapping around us like a well-worn quilt. Honeymoon? He asked, scrolling flights on his phone. Somewhere quiet. Big Sur? No signals, just cliffs and us. Sold, he grinned, pulling me onto his lap for a kiss that devolved into more, the kitchen island cool under my back. But New York doesn't do quiet. Work pulled me back Monday, site meetings at the yards, where the condos rose like glass monoliths, indifferent to personal earthquakes. Oliver dove into a commission for a queer indie film poster, his studio a corner of our living room piled with pads and paints. The first fight came swift. A month in, me late from a client dinner, him waiting with cold takeout and colder eyes. "You smell like wine and her," he accused, though it was a male client, platonic, but the ghost of Emily lingered. "It's nothing," I protested, shedding my jacket. "Just schmoozing, schmoozing," he spat the word, pacing. "That's how it starts, Mason. Polite lies. Then what? I'm not your ex," Hurt flared. "Hot. And you're not my sister's shadow." He flinched, the barb landing true. Silence stretched, ugly, until he deflated. "Fuck. I'm sorry. This scares me." "Me too." I crossed to him, arms enveloping. "But we talk. No ghosts." Apology sex was fierce, reclaiming nails raking backs, whispers of mine in the dark. We emerged stronger, but the seed was planted, trust, fragile as Brooklyn glass. Fall crept in with amber leaves and harvest markets, us wandering McCarran Park hand in hand, rings catching sun. Oliver's art show opened in November, raw, emotional pieces on love's underbelly, one titled Wrong House that mirrored our story in fractured acrylics. I stood beside him as buyers murmured, pride swelling like a tide. "You're brilliant," I whispered during the toast, his hand in mine under the table. "You're biased," but his smile said he believed it. Emily visited then, neutral ground, a diner in neutrality, coffee steaming between us three. Awkward hugs, stilted chat, but her eyes softened on our intertwined fingers. "You look happy," she said to me, tentative. "I am, genuine." "You, getting there. New city, new me." To Oliver, "Miss you, idiot. Miss you too, sis." Hug lingered, mending. Felt like progress, humanistic threads weaving a family from frayed cloth. But betrayal's echo isn't silenced easy. December brought the storm. My firm landed a massive contract, eco-luxury resort in the Hamptons, celebrity backers, and with it, long hours, travel teases. Oliver, supportive at first, grew distant, sketches turning darker, whiskey nights solo. Then the email, anonymous, forwarded from an old colleague. Photos grainy, but unmistakable, me at that client dinner, arm around a junior architect, laughing too close, her hand on my knee. Context, harmless networking. But in the wrong light, damning. Oliver confronted me New Year's Eve, fireworks popping outside as he thrust the printout at me. "Explain." "It's nothing." Panic rose. "She's straight. Married. But you let her." His voice broke. "After everything. You let her touch you." "Oliver." "No." He backed away, eyes wet. "I trusted you. Gave you my fucked up heart. And you. I'd never cheat." Desperate, I grabbed his arm. "This is sabotage." "Jealous coworker. Maybe." He yanked free. "Or maybe it's you, Mason. The golden boy. Always 1 foot out." The fight escalated, words like shrapnel. His insecurities from the past, my defensiveness from guilt's residue. He stormed out into the snow, door slamming like finality. I chased, barefoot in the cold, streets slick with slush. Oliver, wait! He whirled under a street lamp, face streaked. What do you want? To fix me? Us? Yes, breath fogging. I love you. Rings and fights and all. He laughed. Hollow. Love's not enough when trust is glass. We stood there, city pulsing indifferent, until he softened just a fraction. Prove it. Every day, I vowed. Starting now, we thawed over dawn takeout, confessions spilling. His fear of abandonment, my terror of failing him. Sex that morning was raw, connective, slow grinds. I locked, bodies affirming what words fumbled. Resolution came practical. I hired a PI, traced the leak to a rival architect bidder over the contract. Screenshots sent to Oliver, vindication in pixels. But the real mend was therapy, couple sessions in a walk-up on the Upper West, unpacking baggage like old suitcases. Spring bloomed again, a stronger in the scars. Oliver's next show sold out, themes of resilience in bold strokes. We adopted a mutt from the shelter, rusty, all wiry fur and wagging chaos, turning runs in Prospect Park into rituals. Emily's wedding invite arrived summer, hers, to a gallery curator named Theo, ceremony in LA. We flew out, me best man to her something blue, Oliver charming the crowd with toasts that danced on pain's edge. You did good, sis, he said during photos, arm around her. So did you, she replied, glancing at me. Forgiveness, full circle. Back home, under stars on our fire escape, Oliver lit a joint, passing it over. Think we'll make it? I exhaled smoke, pulling him close. 280. Wrinkles and all, he chuckled, head on my chest. Deal. Golden boy. Love, we learned, isn't a straight line, it's a skyline, jagged and lit, demanding you build through the storms. Ours was dramatic, emotional, laced with romance's quiet fire and humanity's hard-won grace. In the house where it began wrong, we'd carved a home profoundly right. The Hamptons project consumed summers like a voracious guest, weekends vanishing into sand and blueprints, Oliver's patience fraying at the edges like old denim. I'd return Sunday nights sun-kissed and exhausted, tumbling into bed where he'd wait with a sketchpad and a glare softened by love. Tell me it's worth it, he'd murmur, pencil pausing mid-stroke, capturing the salt in my hair, the worry in my brow. It is, I'd lie, because the resort was a beast, sustainable glass pavilions hugging dunes, solar panels glinting like promises, but the real worth was us, and I was failing at balance. One evening, post-shower, towel slung low, I found him on the balcony, staring at the river traffic below, a half-smoked cigarette between his fingers, a habit he'd kicked for me, relapsed in stress. Ollie, I wrapped arms around him from behind, chin on his shoulder. Talk, he sighed, stubbing the butt. It's not the hours. It's you. Drifting. Like I'm the side quest, guilt-punched. Never, kiss to his neck, lingering. You're the main arc, he turned, hands framing my face, eyes searching. Prove it. Ditch the site visit tomorrow. One day, I hesitated, deadline loomed, client breathing down but nodded. Done. We spent it wandering the village. Vintage shops unearthing leather jackets that matched. Falafel from a cart steaming in the October chill. Ending at Washington Square where buskers strummed Dylan covers. He sketched passers-by, Me his model in repose on a bench. Arch in my back echoing the fountain's curve. Beautiful, he said. Not of the page, but me raw, unfiltered. That night, candles guttering on the coffee table, we slow danced to Coltrane, bodies sinking like tides. Lovemaking followed, tender, unhurried, his mouth mapping freckles I'd forgotten I had, my fingers unraveling him thread by thread. Stay, he whispered after, spent and sated. Always, but always bent under pressure. November's nor'easter howled, flooding subways, stranding me in the office overnight. Text to Oliver went unread until dawn. Stuck. Love you. His reply, terse, figures. Pickup was awkward, him in the lobby with coffee, expression thunderous. Client emergency? Weather, defensive. What did you think? That you're choosing them. Hurt flickered. Again, the drive home crackled, radio filling voids. At a red light on Flatbush, he broke, I saw the photos. Mason. From the resort. You and that subcontractor, laughing, hands on shoulders. Innocent, I insisted. Team building. Team, he scoffed. I'm your team. You are. Light green. But we idled. Trust me. Working on it. But his hand found mine. Squeezed tentative. Home. We unpacked, literally, his duffel from a solo trip to his parents in Philly, metaphorically in tears over wine. I left because Dad's sick, he confessed. Voice small. Cancer. Stage 3. Fuck. I held him as sobs racked, my own tears silent. Why didn't you say? Didn't want to burden. Wry smile. Wild card's curse. You're not. Kiss to temple. We're in this. His treatment watch began. Drives to Sloan Kettering. Waiting rooms thick with magazines and fear. Oliver played chauffeur, sketching to distract, while I juggled calls from the Hamptons. Holidays loomed grim. Thanksgiving at his folks in Connecticut. A colonial house sagging under grief. Oliver's dad, Harlan, was a bear of a man, ex-cop, broad as a door, now shrunken in his recliner, chemo's toll evident in yellowed skin. His mom, Lila, fluttered with casseroles, eyes red-rimmed. Emily arrived too, flight from L.A., hugging Oliver fierce. Brought Theo's sauce recipe, she said, forcing normalcy. Dinner was strained, talk of weather, football, but Harlan pulled me aside after pie, hand heavy on my shoulder. Heard you fixed roofs or some shit. Build good, son. For him, I will, I promised, throat tight. Night, in the guest room, Oliver curled against me, vulnerability stark. Scared he'll go before. Shoo, fingers in his hair. He's tough. Like you. Sex was comfort, slow rocks, breaths mingling, affirming life amid death's shadow. Morning, Harlan shuffled out, eyes on us over coffee. You too. Remind me of us. Young. To Lila. Across the table, wild and steady, she smiled, wistful. Don't let go. We didn't. Christmas in the city. Tree strung with ornaments from thrift shops, rusty gnawing wrapping paper. Oliver's gift to me, a custom blueprint of our apartment, annotated with inside jokes. Kitchen, site of burnt toast wars. Bed, neutral zone. Mine to him. A trip booked. Paris in spring. Eiffel under moonlight. But January bit hard. Harlan's scan showed spread, and Oliver unraveled, nights pacing, sketches abandoned for blank pages. One storm-lashed evening, he snapped, "I can't do this, Mason." Watch him fade. You don't have to alone. I blocked his path, hands on arms. We're the team. He collapsed against me, fists in my shirt. What if I break? Then we glue, kiss, fierce. Stronger. Therapy helped, solo for him, unpacking paternal ghosts, joint for us, fortifying seams. Harlan stabilized, experimental trial buying time, and with it, hope's fragile bloom. Spring equinox. We escaped to Big Sur, cliffs crumbling into Pacific foam, cabins redwood-scented, days hiking trails slick with mist, nights in clawfoot tubs, wine-warming veins. One sunset, on a bluff, wind whipping, Oliver dropped to knee, not proposal, but promise. Vowed once. Mean it double now. Rings glinted, vows renewed in whispers. Lovemaking on the rug before a hearth, primal, connected, earth and sea echoing our cries. Back in Brooklyn, life layered, my promotion to partner, Oliver's mural commission for a queer center in Bed-Stuy, vines entwining figures, resilient, intertwined. Emily's pregnancy announcement came via video call, Theo beaming beside her. "Aunt Ollie?" she teased. "Uncle," he corrected, voice thick. "God." Baby Hargrove Riley playdates. Laughter bridged oceans. But conflict simmers. Summer solstice marked year 2, rooftop redux. Friends toasting, but a call mid-party. Hampton's groundbreaking delayed. Sabotage suspected. Rival firm. Whispers of corporate espionage. Stress coiled. Oliver, sensing, withdrew, studio hours stretching. Texts curt. One night, I found him at the queer center, paint splattered, staring at the mural half done. "It's not coming," he admitted. "Blocked. By what? You." Harlan. "Everything." I pulled him down, amid tarps and turpentine. "Then paint us." Messy. He did, frantic strokes, colors bleeding. My face emerging from chaos, vines cradling. "There," he said, stepping back, spent. Real. Sex in the empty space against the wall, urgent, affirming creation from destruction. Fall brought Harlan's remission, miraculous, tear-soaked family dinner in the city. Lila hugged me fierce. "You saved him. We saved each other." Humanity's grace. Not perfection, but persistence. In the house of beginnings fraught, our love stood, dramatic in tempests, emotional in depths, romantic in stolen glances, profound in quiet holds. Autumn's palette bled into winter's stark white, the city layering scarves and salt on sidewalks, our rhythm a steady pulse amid the frenzy. Oliver's mural unveiled to fanfare, ribbon cut by local councilwoman, press snapping the vines that symbolized queer roots in concrete soil. He stood tall in the spotlight, hand in mine, but later, alone in the crowd's hush, whispered, "For Dad. For us." Harlan flew up for the event, gaunt but grinning, chemo a memory fading like old ink. "Proud. Son," he rumbled, clapping Oliver's back. Then mine, both my boys. Tears pricked, mine, his. Lila's dabbing with a hanky. Emily FaceTimed from LA. Newborn coos in background. Uncle Ollie, Meet Nora. Your mini-me. Oliver melted, screen-kissing the bundle. She's got your fire, sis. And Theo's dimples, she laughed. When do I get Riley Hargrove pics? Soon, I promised. Arm around Oliver. Family, fractured once, forging anew. But betrayal's specter stalked subtle. The Hamptons' delay traced to insider leak. My junior from that dinner, bitter over past promotion, feeding rival specs. Confrontation in HR's fluorescent hell. Her tears, my fury leashed. Betrayal cuts deepest from kin, I said, echoing Oliver's words. Fired. She left sniffling. I left hollow. Home. Oliver waited with stew simmering, Rusty at feet. Heard. Over. Jacket tossed. But it stings. He pulled me to the couch, knees knocking. Like family gone wrong. We talked till midnight, his ex's ghost. My Emily echo, then made love slow, healing, his body arching under mine. Gasps prayers of absolution. January thawed with a curveball. Oliver's offer from LA, a studio gig on that indie film. 6 months. High profile. It's big, he said over breakfast. Excitement warring worry. But leaving you, don't. Fork paused. Go. We'll bridge. His eyes searched. Long distance? Us. Video dates. Surprise visits. Kiss to knuckles. We're built for it. He accepted. Flight booked. But doubt lingered like fog. Send-off at JFK was airport cliché, hugs fierce, kiss lingering past boarding call. Call when you land, I murmured. Every night, wink, but eyes wet. Nights blurred. Empty bed. Rusty's whines. Work a distraction. Texts evolved to sexts. Miss your ink on my skin. Video calls to virtual fucks. Screens fogging with breath. But distance amplified cracks. A cancelled weekend when Harlan relapsed minor. My promotion party solo. His premiere invite tempting solo flights. March. He called late. Voice slurred. Bar noise. Miss you too much. Golden boy. Home soon. Plea. Contracts ironclad. Sigh. But fuck it. Quitting. Don't. Alarm. For what? Us. For everything. Line crackled. Love you. Click. Silence roared. Panic set. Flights booked. I landed in LA unannounced. Palm trees mocking with sway. His apartment. Sun-drenched loft in Silver Lake. Door ajar. Music low. Inside him, packing boxes, face lighting like dawn. Mason, surprise, arms open. He launched, kiss crashing like waves. Idiot. Hero. We tumbled to the floor amid tape and cardboard. Reclaiming. Clothes shed frantic. Bodies slick with sweat and relief. Moans echoing off exposed beams. Never again, he gasped. Inside me, deep. Never, I echoed, clenching. He stayed, negotiated remote. Studio visits quarterly. Return flight together, hand in hand. City lights welcoming. Spring's renewal mirrored ours. Park picnics with Rusty. Nora's christening via Zoom, us godparents. Vows virtual. But drama brewed domestic. My firm-eyed expansion to LA. Tempting poach. Go if you want, Oliver said. Casual over dinner. But home's here. With you. Fork down. Always. Yet temptation whispered bigger salary. Son. Escape from winter's bite. Sleepless nights. Paced. Blueprints forgotten. Climax cracked open May Day. Investor dinner in Manhattan. Schmoozing heavy. Post-meal. Offer slipped. VP slot. LA base. Head spinning. I texted Oliver, big news. Home soon. He waited. Wine poured. Spill. Promotion. But. Relocate. Silence stretched. Glass midway. LA. Yeah. Hesitant. You could. No. Firm. My roots are here. Your vines too. Hurt flared. So I choose? Career or us? I steal. Or is it still the golden path? Old wounds ripped. Emily's echo. My hesitations past. It's not that. I prove it. Echo of New Year's. Sharper now. I stormed out, rain lashing. Streets, rivers, cab to the High Line, where I'd proposed wrong once. Sat on a bench. Soaked. Soul-searching. Blueprints versus heart. Safe versus wild. Dawn found me home. Door creaking. Oliver asleep. Sketchpad open. Our faces intertwined but cracking. I woke him gentle. Coffee steaming. I turned it down. Eyes fluttered open. Relief flooding. Mason. Us first. Kiss soft. Always. Forgiveness unfolded lazy. Morning sex in sheets tangled. Laughter bubbling. Then talk. Dreams shared. Compromises sketched like art. Summer solstice 3. Rooftop. Harlan toasting. Remission holding. Emily in person with Nora gurgling. To the house that held it all, Oliver said. Glass raised. Wrong turns. Right homes, I added. Fall deepen bonds. Joint therapy wrapping. Oliver's book deal for graphic memoir, Vines in Concrete. Our story veiled. Harlan's health steadied. Family dinners ritual. But humanity humbles. November. Rusty's diagnosis, hip dysplasia. Surgery looming. We held vigil post-op. His cone absurd. Our worry mirrored. He's our chaos, Oliver joked. Tears hidden. Healing, I said, hand in paw. Like us. Winter's hush brought quiet romance. Ice skating at Bryant Park. Gloved hands linked. Falls into snowbanks dissolving in kisses. New Year's. Confetti raining. We vowed anew, no rings. Just words. Through betrayals. Blocks. Distances. Love's drama. Not grand gestures, but gritty endurance. Emotional depths plumbed. Romantic sparks fanned. Humanistic in flaws embraced. In America's sprawl, our American dream, 2 men, 1 house, vines unbreakable. The new year dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered over black coffee and resolutions etched in resolve. More presence, less perfection. Oliver's memoir launch loomed February. Vines in concrete. Pages pulsing with our raw edges. Illustrations bleeding color into pain. Pre-release buzz hummed. Podcasts booking. Bookstores stacking. A queer-lit festival slot in Provincetown. You're nervous? I asked. Tie straightening in our mirror. His reflection tousled from bed. Terrified, he adjusted my collar. Fingers lingering. What if they see too much? Exposed. Then they see truth. Kiss to jaw. Beautiful. Launch night at McNally Jackson. Crowd thick with ink-stained hipsters and rainbow pins. Harlan in the front row beaming friendlier but fierce. Oliver read from the dedication. To the house that broke me open. Voice steady. cracking only on love's wild blueprint. Q&A flowed, betrayals unpacked, redemptions claimed, questions veering personal. The brother-in-law real? He glanced at me, stage-lit. Real as regret, redeemed as grace. Applause thundered, signings stretched hours, my hand on his shoulder anchor. After champagne at home, Lila toasting, Emily video cheering with Theo cradling Nora. Bestseller. Bro, she predicted. February thawed to March madness. My firm's annual gala, black tie schmooze at the plaza. Oliver in tailored velvet, tattoos peeking at cuffs, turning heads. Your arm candy? A partner slurred. Scotch slurred. My husband, I corrected, arm possessive. The talent, dancing under chandeliers, waltz awkward, laughter freeing, his head on my chest to the band's swing. Proud, he murmured. Every damn day, but envy slithers. April, a younger architect, fresh from Yale, all ambition and abs, joined the team, flirting blatant in break rooms. Oliver noticed, memoirs vulnerability raw. He's eyeing you, over dinner, fork-stabbing salad. Jealous, teasing, but tension coiled. Wary, honest. You're the catch, I laughed, pulling him across the table for a kiss. Hooked. Baited. Reassurance came bedroom-bound, him-topping, dominant, marking with bites, mine etched in purple blooms. Believe now, gasped, spent. Utterly. Spring's riot, Provincetown fest, us road-tripping the Cape, dunes whispering secrets. Reading on a wharf stage, salt wind whipping pages, crowd wrapped. After-party bonfire, stories swapped, hands linked in sand, stars pricking velvet sky. Home. Harlan's checkup clean, celebration barbecue in Prospect, smoke curling, Rusty chasing frisbees. Lila's potato salad, Emily's flight surprise with Nora toddling. Uncle Mason, she squealed, arms up. Heart full, I scooped her, binning. Oliver watched. I soft. Our turn, someday. We murmured later, porch swing creaking. Surrogacy talks tentative, dreams sketched, but climax crests unbidden. June heat wave, city steaming, my promotion managing partner announced with fanfare. Perks, corner suite, LA satellite oversight. Temptation redux. Oliver sensed. Dinner silent. They're pushing relocation again. Consulting, evasive. Not full, but you want it. Accusatory. I want us stable, defensive. Bigger nest for. Future, he recoiled. So sacrifice roots? For what? Glass towers and golf. It's security. It's escape. Voice rising. For me, the mess. Old fissures cracked wide. His abandonment scars. My provider ghosts. You're not mess, I pleaded. You're home. Then stay. Ultimatum soft. Shattering. Fight spilled to streets. Yelling under acorn trees. Neighbors peeking. I built this for you. Me. Pointing back. And I'd burn it for us. Him. Raw. Silence fell. Breaths heaving. What now? Whispered. Fight for it. His hand extended. Together. I took it, pulling him close. Rain broke, torrential, biblical, us soaked, kissing fierce under downpour, salt mingling tears. Resolution reigned in, I negotiated hybrid New York base, quarterly LA, family first. Oliver's mural series commissioned. American Vines, cities as lovers entwined. Summer waned golden. Us at the Hamptons resort open. Dunes dotted guests. Private cabana. Sex lazy. Waves crashing counterpoint. His body gilded sun. Fall harvest. Nora's first birthday. Us flying west. Cake smashing. Vows to auntie/uncle duties. Harlan's strength returning. Fishing trips planned. Winter's embrace. Holiday lights strung. Memoir sequel brainstormed, concrete hearts. New Year's Eve. Rooftop ours now. Berry Street bought outright. Fireworks bursting. To betrayals burned, Oliver toasted. To loves reclaimed, I echoed. Kiss under pyrotechnics. Dramatic arc bent. Emotional core bared. Romantic flame eternal. Humanistic close, flawed. Fierce. Forever. In America's vast heart, two men wove a tapestry. Threads of conflict knotted tight. Colors of feeling vivid. Pattern of grace enduring. The house that hosted wrong bloomed right. Our sanctuary. Vines eternal.